A common question I get is, what do you charge for private lessons? So in today's video, I'm going to go through the 4 factors that I consider before I set my rates. I'm Shannon Codwell, founder of Purple Lotus Yoga, where I help women of all sizes and ages become standout yoga teachers. After teaching yoga and training teachers for 20 years, I've learned that a successful practice is more than about forcing your body into impossible shapes. It's about creating an environment, an inclusive environment that allows for a whole life transformation. For the best tips and advice on teaching yoga and deepening your practice, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to get my latest uploads. Anytime anybody asks me, especially if I know they're in my region, which is the North Texas region, my pat answer is I always have a base rate of $60 an hour. The only exception to that $60 going a little bit lower than $60 an hour is 2 exceptions. The first one is if you are absolutely brand new and charging $60 an hour when maybe you don't have any kind of certification yet or any kind of experience that you're hesitant. Take it down $5 or $10, but no more than that, because it's very hard to move people up, and you can get burnout charging less than $60 an hour for a private. And then the second time to only go below $60 an hour for your base rate is if you're doing a package deal. So again, I'll talk about the package in just a moment. If you are a more experienced or seasoned teacher, I would recommend your base rate be a little bit higher. And especially if you have a specialty. If you are known for doing yoga for multiple sclerosis or something specific, or even like Thai yoga, I would move my base rate up. My base rate might start at $75 an hour and go up from there. And remember, this is base rate. We're starting at 60, and then we're looking at those 4 factors that I talked about first in deciding, do I stay at 60 or do I need to bump it up? So for example, let's say I'm going to do a couple and my base rate is $60, but I have to drive 30 minutes and it's going to be at their house. They're opening their doors to me, so I'm not going to add anything for location. But I am having to drive 30 minutes and spend gas. And so I want to add on maybe $5 or $10 for that drive time. So now my 60 has gone to 70. And I'm just going to say that my couple, they don't need any extra prep time. They just want to get comfortable with the names of the postures and feel comfortable with what they need to do to get the most beneficial practice out when they go into a group class. So I don't have anything that I need to add there for prep time, at least for me. I would not need to do a lot of prep time. So I'm probably going to charge $70 an hour to work with this couple, driving the 30 minutes to work with them. Now, this is where I want to talk about offering packages. One-offs are okay, but one-offs, that means they're just interested in doing one session with me. If it's a one-off session, I generally am going to add on to my base rate. So if this couple has talked to me, they just want to do one time, so I'm going to drive this one time to them. I may add on another $5 or $10. It may become $75 or even $80 to do that one off. And I do that for a couple of reasons. With a one-off, it's very easy for somebody to change their minds. It comes the day, oh, we're busy, we can't do it. So we're not going to come, we don't want to do it. When we make it a little bit higher, the client has what we say skin in the game. And at $80, it sounds like you're serious and you're taking yourself serious and you're taking these lessons serious. So again, if a one-off might be a little bit higher. So now let's look at the packages that I've been dropping here. When I do private lessons, I am working toward getting them to sign up for a package. And that package can be a set of 4 sessions, 6 sessions, or even more. My standard is to do 4 sessions. I like 4 sessions because you can get great commitment, you can get buy-in from them, and it's also a way to test the waters, that you're not overcommitting with a client or a set of clients that drive you bananas. And believe me, I've had a couple of those situations where I didn't want to work with a client because it's so frustrating to work with them. So if a client asks you, hey, do you have any discounts, any way I could, get a little bit less than what you're charging me, then I would say, hey, the best way that both of us are going to benefit from this is if you would sign up for my 4-lesson package. I'm just throwing numbers out for examples. So if my base rate with this couple is $80, hey, sign up with me, do 4 sessions with me, and I'll do it for $65 a session. So whatever 65 times 4 is, that's going to be the rate to do 4 with you. Some important things to keep in mind if you do packages: have it prepared ahead of time, know what your numbers are going to be before they ask, and have your policies in place for your packages. Your packages need to expire. This package needs to be used in 30 days, 60 days, 6 months. I wouldn't go past 6 months, because just as soon as you've forgotten about dealing with this client, they give you a call at 7 months and go, oh, life got in the way and now I want to finish up my package. But you have mentally moved on. So it can be hard to kind of backtrack that way. So make sure your package has an expiration date. And also you want to make sure you have a cancellation policy attached to that package. If they cancel, is there a penalty? If they cancel within X amount of time, they can reschedule. If they cancel with less than, say, 24 hours, that session is gone. They've lost it. Cancellation policies are good enough for healthcare providers, massage therapists, etc. It's good enough for you too. I do want to mention one last thing when it comes to you sitting down to figure out what you want to charge. And that is, there's a method called the good, great, and gulp method. I got this from Kate Connell-Potts, and she talks about coming up with a good price, a good rate, a great rate, and a gulp rate. So the good rate would be that lower end rate that feels really easy, really doable for you. You have no issues charging that. And sometimes that good rate is always a little bit lower than what our true value is. Then the great rate is where it's starting to feel a little tight, but closer to the value that you provide, closer to what you truly feel like you need to charge for these private lessons. And then the third method is the gulp method, that when you write that price down or you express that price, it feels like it's a big gulp, like you're really uncomfortable with that price, but it's also closer to pricing what your value is at, what you're bringing to the table. Because too often when people come to practice yoga postures, they undervalue the benefit. They want to take yoga and they want to get yoga for as cheap as they can get it. And they will throw all kinds of excuses at you about, well, I can go here and practice for this, and I can go here, or I could do it online, or I can do whatever for much less than that. And you need to be prepared to let them know, hey, in my case, I've been teaching for 20 years. I can come in and help you get to where you want to be in these many classes. I can make you feel totally comfortable. You're not going to get that same back and forth Q&A, one-on-one attention in those other places that you mentioned. So, hey, this is what I'm worth. This is why I'm worth it, without consorting to begging them to do it with you. But I have found with people who are doing private lessons, if they're asking you about private lessons, they already have an understanding that it's going to be a little bit higher. It's going to be $60 an hour, $70 an hour, maybe even more. If you have any questions about setting rates for private lessons, leave a comment below and I'll be happy to answer them.